seconds left on the clock. He wins with a
Oblivion
pistol!
somehow managing to one-hand him after throwing his grenade. Nope, I don't want him on there. Go away, Sao. Okay, there we go. Welcome, everybody, to the IVRL unaVAILable stream. I'm your host, Trip, and I got Radar, and I got Zuck, and I don't think you can hear either one of them, but I'm working on it.
Oh, I'm not saying anything.
Yeah, I also am not saying words.
Now we can hear you. Thank you, guys.
All right.
Excellent. We're out here.
All right. So we're going to talk about playoff number 1, maybe get into playoff number 2. And we're also going to do a giveaway.
What are we going to give away? Are we going to ruin what are we giving away?
I think,
away? We give away one of these bad boys. Not the Quest 2. These straps. Not one of these straps.
It's also not one of these straps.
Welcome to Miami.
It's actually the M1 strap from Bobo, but this is the M2. Look at it. It's gorgeous. Radar's camera.
They're kind of sick.
Poo-poo.
I don't use my Quest anymore, but I kind of want one of those just to have it.
Yeah, it's really comfy.
It looks dope.
I just got mine like 2 days ago.
It's real comfy. It doesn't just look real comfy. It is real. I sleep with mine sometimes. I have it on my head. It helps me go to sleep. That's a lie. But what do you do?
Oh, it's a
geez, is that what
dog.
you put on your
Look
head
at
to go to sleep?
that.
Bye, Bobo.
This helps. This helps me sleep.
Mom's left, so this one is very upset. So she's just gonna hang out with me here. This is Nora.
I know her.
I know her. What up? Wow, so playoff 1 we had this weekend just gone, and playoff 2, but we're going to predominantly focus on playoff 1, and it did not disappoint. They were straight out the gates.
Let's talk.
Amazing matches.
Let's talk about the group, right? Group play in the playoff 1. We got the bracket here somewhere. There's one bracket. There we go.
I like brackets. How do I make you bigger? Okay, I can kind of read it.
You have to excite me.
It's a good question. Hold on, I'll make it bigger. There you go. I can just do this.
All right, so in Group 1, we had Pink Misters, VGG, Prism, Leftovers, Redshift, Veil, Meme Team, Royal Strive, One Hand, Chemical Jokers, Limericks, Coconuts, and BWB.
Is it Limericks? Limericks?
It's Limericks. I actually went in between because I was I was casting that match, and I had no idea. I thought it was like Limeroo or something like that. So I'm very sorry if I pronounced your team name wrong. So I went in between maps and got some clarification.
That's just your French Canadian coming out there, isn't it? Hey.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Eh?
Hey. Oh yeah.
Nice. Now the closest matches I got to see of that were between VGG and Redshift. That was a real nail biter, both rounds, especially the second map on Ma. You had VGG and Redshift trading places first all the way through Ma. VGG had already taken map 1, so Redshift were fighting to stay in. In the end, VGG managed to pull ahead. There's a few. Did any go to map 3?
Yeah, one hand
map,
and Boogie Woogie.
And it
So-
wasn't
Boogie
casted,
Woogie, and
unfortunately.
Yeah. So well, no, actually, I casted that. I caught that halfway through. Yeah, because I was on Leftovers EU versus Limericks, and they finished a little bit early. Maybe One Hand and Boogie Woogie had taken a timeout or something. So I ended up catching about half of Mar and all of Suna. And Boogie Woogie ended up pulling that one. It was really close, like all the way. Like it was all 1v1s, and I don't remember the exact scores of the maps, but it was like it was actually a wicked game to watch.
No doubt. So there's 2 teams that came through, but we'll come on to that in a bit. Have we got some clips to roll?
We do. In a second, I have lost all control of the deck.
Fair enough. In that case, we can continue talking.
I can bring us back to us. That's what I can do. I can bring us back here, and we can talk. But the iPad has decided that it just wants to jump off of a cliff. So 1 sec.
I can't blame it, honestly.
We'll get backup iPad, and we'll be right back.
Backup iPad. That's good. I mean, I can't blame the iPad. It is Wednesday, right? Middle of the week. It's not a Friday, so I literally agree with it.
Unbelievable. Okay, so we highlights of playoff one. A lot of nail biters all the way through, but the clear contenders. My call for favorites for playoff was obviously Royal Strive, was the big bads to beat, and my favorite was VGG to have the only real chance of taking it to them, and I wasn't wrong. In fact, I wasn't wrong throughout the entire weekend. I just want to say that, as far as odds and evens and pundits concerned, I nailed every single one of these bad boys last week. Round one, I called it. Group one, I called it. Group two, I called it. Who the finalists were going to be, and they did not disappoint. But so VGG's rise. Okay, the first game against Redshift, the closest game until they went against Royal Strive. They took Kitty 11-5. It was pretty close. Back and forth throughout. What we saw from VGG was dominance, though. Like their attacks were very aggressive, and the defense was dynamic and fluid. They didn't wait for the attacks to come. They anticipated and they shut down the attacks. Redshift put up a great fight, though, and when it came to Ma, it literally was point for point, both team matching each other in defense and offense. A lot of great drop shots to be found. But ultimately, VGG took it. VGG then, and that score was 11-9, by the way. That's a nail biter. That's a team fighting for their place in Miami, right? Because you have to remember that all the way through this playoffs, people have played for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks, getting scrimming, practicing, getting the nade timings down, getting the teamwork up to scratch. And this was the opportunity, right? You only get one shot. If you get knocked out of this playoffs, that's it. You're not going to Miami. So immediately, straight in round one, we see two really good teams, VGG and Redshift, facing off, and Redshift barely missing out. And you can see the desperation, but you can see the determination at the same time. It wasn't just desperation, it was determination, and they almost brought it back. And it was a great opening casted match. Next, VGG went on to fight VAIL meme team, who VGG beat 22-6, and then finally VGG went on to fight the Pink Misters, who they beat 22-1. So obviously the big hump for VGG on the way to the final was Redshift, their opening salvo. Meanwhile, on the other bracket side, we had Royal Strive, who were my favorites, went 22 for 3 against Coconuts. Then they went 22 for 3 against Prism. Of course, the score is not telling you the complete story, right? That's
well, those scores not telling you the complete story at all, because it only shows the map wins. You don't even get the scores; you just get the
right.
Actually,
well, exactly. But they unfortunately, Prism was casted, but that was a 22-3, and then 11-3 and 11-0, I believe, on Ma. Finally, they went up against the Chemical Jokers, who put up a great fight, but ultimately, especially on Kitty, they put up a great fight on Kitty against Chemical Jokers. I think it was something like Royal Strive were ahead. Chemical Jokers brought it back, but then Royal Strive finished it out 11-7, and then on Kitty, Chemical Jokers were outclassed by Royal Strive, and it went 11-3, I believe. Ultimately finishing 22-10 for Royal Strive, and I think that came as a surprise to Chemical Jokers. Put up a great fight, but I don't think they were aware of Royal Strive, as aware as Royal Strive as they should have been necessarily, because I think it came to them as a shock that Royal Strive was so dominant.
Yeah, I think they even asked. They were like, "Who is Royal Strive?" Like, right? Like that's.
Yeah.
You need to know who you're going up against when you go into these playoffs, right? I mean, you could do research, right? You don't play anymore, Radar, but let's ask Zucchini.
Hey.
Yeah, I mean, as a player, like you have to have some understanding of who you're going to play against and some understanding of what tendencies they might take, and that's obviously going to give you some level of edge. But I mean, Royal Strive is a team that has championship pedigree and some insane raw skill on their roster. They're, in my mind's going into this clear favorites for this bracket as is. But I mean, I didn't cast the finals with VGG and Redshift, but I did catch actually quite a bit of that match, and it's quite an interesting match to see like a couple of different play styles. Royal Strive can only be really summed up as one word for me, and that's calculated. If you look at the way that they push and the way that they aggress and the way that they make picks and rotate around and work together, they don't really blindly rush a lot of stuff. Like they have a couple of hard executes that they fire up there, but really the challenge dealing with them is that they have a tendency to bait a lot of your utility before you even get a chance to fight them. So, and they know that, and they play off of that, and they bring the utility to that fight, right?
Well, speaking of utilities, one thing I didn't mention, I'm hoping we're going to get some amazing clips of it, was you saw Matt H. I believe, well, we had him on the show last week, and he was dual wielding grenades, and back to back, he got 2 kills with those grenades, back to back. Like just the timing and the location of both of them was perfect. Like they staggered. So, he basically created like a blast radius, like doubled the blast radius, because he put one in front, one behind, he had them perfect. And two rounds back to back, he got double kills with those double nades. And that's no accident. That is practiced perfection from that chap. Yeah. I know there's really 3 players that I know that take double nades. It's Matt H, Sayonara, and Clev, and they all have a little bit different ways of doing it, right? So it's kind of an interesting like inner strategy or like kind of mind game with it. Like Matt H has a tendency to throw them short and long, right? I've seen Clev just literally go up with 2 hands and throw 2 nades at the same time, and Sayonara usually throw them back to back, right? And they're all viable strategies, and you have to understand that with your spot placement. Like you have to avoid getting burned like that more than once, because that free entry on a nade kill is huge, right? It's huge. And we watched a few matches where, especially on Kidi, where like the distances are so close and there's not a lot of room to go left and right. It's basically only forward back, like when you're talking about alley and like CTB and even on site and stuff like that. You have to kind of expect the nades and put yourself in positions that you can avoid the nades, but that also takes you out of fighting. So it's a calculated guess at where you need to be correctly in order to avoid just getting blown the heck up, right? So it can be really dangerous on that map. Absolutely. Another, one thing I made a special note of when I was watching back through the Saturday show was, I don't know if we saw it more than once, but the only one I remember seeing was Chewy for Redshift. Chewy for Redshift broke the 30 kill mark in his fight against VGG. Now, if that's not a sign of a player pulling his weight, I don't know what it is. I don't even doesn't matter what team, Royal Strive or Boss Fight, VGG, etc. I don't think we saw another player break the 30 kill mark. I could be wrong. Does anyone else recall seeing a 30 killer?
Not in any of the games that I covered. I had a chance to watch back, but I've played against Redshift a couple of times now, and Chewy's a gamer through and through. Like that guy hits shots consistently. He is a dangerous player, and like when he's on, he's really on, and it could be a game changer. Like he has the potential to almost single-handedly win matches just by through like sheer skill, right?
Tenacity and skill, yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Anyway, Chewy, even though Redshift didn't make it and you got knocked out of the tournament at basically your opening match, I salute you, sir. I salute you. Another amazing play we saw, which I'm hoping we'll get to see, again from Royal Strive, I believe this was against Chemical Jokers as well, was the complete fake out on Kitty. Like the complete fake out, where Matt H goes in with making as much noise as possible. The rest of the team do the stealth push. And this, again, worked back to back against Chemical Jokers, where they completely, and I don't mean like 1 or 2, they completely abandoned B site and went to defend A. And sure enough, 4 members of Royal Strive walk in, take the entire place for free, set up the defenses, start the scan, and at that point, the entirety of the enemy team is still alive, realize they've lost control of the map, and then they're fighting an uphill battle. And I don't remember seeing that a single time between any other team where they completely... I mean, I can understand Chemical Joker's wanting to be proactive, right? I said that's what VGG were doing in the defense. They were being proactive with the defense, and they were shutting down attacks almost before they started. I feel like that's where Chemical Jokers was trying to go. But Royal Strife took advantage of that. I don't know if they had done some homework or whatever, and they knew that this was a reactive team. But it worked out for them. 2 rounds in a row, back to back. Chemical Jokers found themselves in a situation where they'd completely given up the site where the real attack was happening. Now, we saw lots of teams doing stealth attacks where they would sneak up and prepare for a push, but I don't think of any other examples where the other team fell for it, hook, line, and sinker to one of the bait and switches like that. So hats off to Royal Strife for exceeding in excellence. Like I said, very coordinated, well calculated team.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I didn't get a chance to catch the Chem Jokers versus Royal Strive game, but watching VGG and Royal Strive back, when we talk about homework, VGG didn't bite on nearly as many of those fakes. Like Royal Strive had a tendency to set up with a 4-1 or even a 3-1-1, very often working some level of fake before a slower real execute onto the opposite site. But maybe VGG either through reviewing footage that they had on them, or even just scrimming them, being also a European team in the same time area as Royal Strive, had some understanding that this was how Royal Strive played. And you'll notice when you watch that back, VGG had a tendency to at least glue one member of their defensive hold to that site and not just straight give it up, because Royal Strive was making some big brain plays with double fakes and all kinds of executions based off of those, which is tough for any team that's never played them to deal with. But VGG, I thought, did a pretty good job of dealing with that and playing it smartly. And interestingly, a lot of the times when they had the site hold, and let's say, Royal Strive's throwing a fake at A, some of the mid players rotate over to A, the site hold at B would play in a spot that would be really annoying to flush out, and generally would at least get 1, oftentimes 2 entries into the site, which was, the right play given how Royal Strive was playing. And that's why Keedy ended up being as close as it was, because they were trading rounds back and forth for all the way up until 8-9. It was really close into those later rounds, right? So good job by VGG making the right reads there on how Royal Strive was playing and putting up the hell of a fight. That was a really good match to watch.
It was. We'll come on to the Royal Strive VGG game, no doubt, as the show continues. But you know what? The playoff really revealed, and this is hats off to the Axe development team. Now in VR, as we've said, when you throw a grenade, you're throwing that grenade. Your actual arm. It's all about the moment, the momentum, the acceleration, etc., and the angle, the pitch, everything involved. As opposed to just pressing G and knowing where it's going to land, right? But we saw time and time again pinpoint perfect grenades coming out of the top teams, where they would spend. In round 1, they'd figure out where the enemy was. In round 2, they would nade those exact spots. In round 3, that team had to adapt. If they didn't adapt, they would die because the nades were falling pitch perfect from the top teams. We just practiced, they just knew exactly right. If I stand here and I throw it like this, I can get that spot. They practice. You can tell that teams had practiced those various spots, be they short throws. We even saw some running up to corners, priming it so that they're able to curl it around the corner. And have it explode half a second later safe, but take out the person around the corner, right? Because they'd expected someone to be behind a box, just behind that corner. So that's hats off, because to make the grenades so accessible and so successful in a VR game where they feel fun to use and you can reliably use them, just fantastic. So that was one of the main things we saw coming out of the playoffs, was confirmation that the nades were absolutely deadly. Because what we saw in Suna, we saw a lot of artillery strikes definitely on the B side, but that's just that could be seen as just blind throws, right? You don't know. But here on Kitty, there was so many angles, so many dead spots for them to land, and they were perfect time and time again. Yeah,
and that's one thing that I've as a team that's transitioned from Onward into VAIL, one thing that immediately my teammates picked up on when they were getting into this game was how intuitive nade throwing is and how good it feels. Working with utility in this game feels good, and it allows players to put in the time to practice those certain nades, certain smokes, certain situational, even flashes too. We've started to see some teams flash in for a teammate and stuff like that. Some higher level plays using utility, because you get that flash a little bit wrong to the left or right, and your teammate's blind, and he loses the fight, right? So, good call, Radar. Good job by Axlab on utility usage. It's really quite consistent and feels good.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Trip, we've talked for a while. We haven't mentioned the final match. Do we have some fun things to show the viewers? Yeah, let's no, I think everyone knows what the winner is, but I just want to see some playoffs before. What I want, well, okay, so the winner was all of us, because we had a fantastic final. What? Yeah.
Speaks the truth. Surprise!
Royal Strive.
Yeah, the logo goes hard.
It's a beautiful logo. It's no doubt about it. I mean, look at it. It's got a bit of arrogance to it, confidence to it. It's artistic. Got like a color, a nice color scheme going on. It's everything a logo should be.
I was just told that I was muted, and I'm now back. I promise. I know what I'm doing.
It's his first day.
I didn't want you guys to hear me yelling mean things at the AI. Okay.
Fair.
The AI is back. I think the AI is back, and it's following my instructions. So we do have replays, and I'm just looking to see which one starts it, because they don't start at 1, because math is hard. Everyone knows that I'm not good at math. Oh, it is 1. Okay, I did it right. Look at that. I know what I'm doing, guys. Oh, man. All right, replay number 1. We're going to start off with VGG getting four kills in 6 seconds with pistols.
You gonna tee this one up?
Right into the
Oh no,
just
it's not the
did.
tee. Gosh darn it. 1, 2, 3, 4, done. Just aggression retake. You can see what you saw there was a aggressive retake of the site.
I want to watch
That's
it again.
where,
I didn't even see it.
And this
Let's
is
do
what
it
I'm
again.
talking about. Like VGG's defense was so aggressive. Like once they identified, they come flying in from every angle as one, and it works perfectly for them, especially in this example.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's really just a classic overwhelm on the retake and just a little bit of chaos and confusion. And, Redshift spots one guy coming in one way, but surprise, there's 3 more behind you. So hard to deal with by any team, and just a good execution by VGG there.
I mean, that's a really good point as well. Is that when you're on pistol rounds, you can afford to be super aggressive, because there's less risk of you getting cut down by a vector or something like that, with just someone just holding down like the trigger finger into an alleyway, right? You have when you're running into pistol shots, those are targeted single shot. Anyway, you get my point.
What, you can't take on a vector with a pistol, Radar?
I can't take anyone when I'm using a pistol.
We had this conversation. Radar needs some pistol practice. We need to get him in some training and get him practiced up with the pistol.
Who's the best pistol player in the game?
Ooh.
That's a good question, right? Look, I know what I'm doing here.
Dude, I don't know, man. Like
But I don't actually play, so I don't know the answer to my own question. So you could literally throw out anything here, and I'd be like, yeah, checks out. Good.
Well, probably the go-to answer for a lot of people would probably be Natix, but is that true? I don't know. I mean, there's lots of amazing players who are establishing themselves in every sense of the word. We know T did amazing with his pistol in every pistol round for VGG.
He had a 5K on pistol on playoff 1. Yeah.
Let me take a quick look through the list and see if I have that one stored up.
I hope you do, because it was kind of sick. Natix is insane with the pistol, no doubt. He shoots the thing so fast, and especially when he peeks out on you and he's in close proximity with a couple of you. He's like one of the only players that I know that consistently turns it almost into a vector. He just shoots it so fast. I don't know how he does it. But
a lot of G fuel.
Apparently, that's the key to playing this game.
Obviously, I mean, I'm not seeing that one in here, but I can get it. But let's move on. Let's go through these replays. We've got another one.
Yeah.
VGG. Feel like these are out of order. They are. Okay. Let me find 2 real quick. And another T with a. Okay, I'm gonna play this. I'm gonna play this because we don't get to do this segment. But this is the first nade of the night. So that's where that's gonna come in. We haven't really determined where we actually want that segment to be, guys. Okay, it's a work in progress.
First nade of the night.
It's the first nade. Here we go. this one, T getting a cross map nade. Somewhere. There it is. Boom! Right into Sorrento. Obliterated. It looked good. It could have probably taken down more. It definitely did damage to all those guys, right? It definitely damaged.
Yeah, I think it did do damage to those guys, and those nades into bottom skate park are just deadly. You have to be so careful, especially when teams have a tendency to delay and throw the nade off of your push. Like, they can be devastating. The number of times where you're just like, oh, this is a good push, we're going in, this is gonna be great, and then just boom, nade takes 3 of you down.
Look, I want to talk about the camera bindings that the developers added over the weekend. This is all I did with them. On Edie, I had one over skate park, and I had one at the other end where I don't remember who it was, but like right outside mid, people just kept blowing up. It was just, I would go to that camera and there'd be someone dying to a grenade over and over and over and over. I was like, is this like Groundhog Day? Like,
yeah, keep popping up.
All you need is umbrellas, ladies and gentlemen. Bring your umbrellas to Kitty.
Tactical umbrella.
I wouldn't even be mad if they put that in the game. That'd be kind of sick. Pop the nade out of there. Tropical when.
Man, math is hard, guys. All right, here we go. Next one's up. More VGG action. We've got Blue in a 2v1 trade
He needs to choose where he's
as
gonna
not last man,
go.
but last defender on this site. He gets one and he gets the other.
Brilliant.
Mi gente
That's
just kind of
tactical
hanging
awareness,
out.
right?
Okay, we got to turn that last nade. It's the AI just wants it. The AI, man. Gonna keep
That's a
playing it.
really smart play there, using the rock to split that 2v1 into 2 1v1s. Like, that is the big brain type of play that you need to be making to win those situations. So well done there.
But that's like your batch processing in that, right? You know, like there's a guy that, well, you multi-process, whatever. There's a guy that you turn it into a batch fight rather than a multi-fight, right? So there's a guy from that place. There's a guy, I've heard a guy over there. So the moment he deals with that, he's already kind of like queued up in his head right now. I'm going to twist and deal with this guy. You know, that's a sign of someone who's played a lot of shooters and plays them well, not just aggressively, not just running aimlessly. He batched it off like coherently and with purpose. And it worked out like absolutely as it should have with that kind of level of play.
For sure.
Roll the next clip.
I'm looking
what do we
for
got
it.
next,
I'm looking
Trip?
for it. I don't have a number 4.
Let's
There
slap
it is.
the AI. Let's go.
The AI is 0 based and my code is not. And so they're all out of order. I have to match them up. This is replay 15, also known as replay number 4. Okay, I don't even know how the order works here, but Mi gente connects with another cross-site nade. Let's see it come in from from backside.
See, I mean, that one's a more of a fallback nade, right? You know the push is happening on B. You know there's going to be likely pushing up through the central area. So he's identified that. Maybe he's seen this.
He's inside of sight.
Yeah, he's inside of sight, and
Boom.
the intelligence in this play comes from, you know, a lot of teams, I see them toss a ton of utility into bottom skate early in the round without an execute, and VGG here is waiting for the commit from Redshift before throwing their utility. They're letting Redshift get into positions that they know are vulnerable and then putting nades down on that. And they did that time and time and time again on their B site holds, and they did a really good job of managing utility to just get that extra, 5-10 seconds out of the defensive hold, so their buddies from A, their buddies from mid can rotate and support them.
Again, it's so important when you're on defense because you have to stack your players accordingly, right? 2-1-2, and you might have 5 people coming at you. So it's all about you have to hold the line long enough for the backup to arrive.
That's right.
Yeah, and I mean, these high-end teams, if you throw those nades early, they're not going to catch anybody because they're going to be waiting. They know. So you have to know once they're there, and that's after they've already committed. And I talked about it a bunch over the weekend on the stream, but it's both very difficult and very easy to get the grenades into the skate park, because as long as you get it in one of the, alleyways, hallways, what do you call little sections?
The half pipe?
Yeah, I mean, okay, so if you get it in the half pipe, it's probably going to kill someone because it's just going to, the walls just kind of roll it right to center and it's going to blow up. But if you miss and you hit one of the tops, then it's not going to kill anybody because of the distance.
Yeah, if you actually hit the like kind of concave part of the bottom of the skate, it can bounce in like so many random directions. So the nade lands there, even if you're like anticipating the nade. I've had nades bounce, which just to my mind doesn't appear probable at all, just directly on my face and explode.
Yeah.
Like it's such RNG, and especially with like 4 or 5 people running up through there. Like that's how we end up seeing those like 2K, 3K nade clips in that bottom skate.
Mm-hmm. All right, next one is, what number are we on, folks? Chat, tell me where we're at. We're at 5. 5 got skipped. We're going to 6. Wait.
Nicely done, Zook.
6. Okay, this is the first nade section because this is more nades. Apparently, the AI knows what I want. You know, I know, you know, kind of thing, right?
Let's play.
Here we go. This is blue with a nade across the map. Now, where is blue? Blue on the left side of the screen there. I didn't really call that across the map, but he does explode Chewy really well.
So close to taking like a lot of people out there.
Yeah, that could have been a 4K really easily. And those nades onto that A-long section there are so effective because, like I was mentioning before, you either go forwards or backwards. There's no side to side. You just gamble on a choice and hope for the best. And somebody gambled wrong in that clip.
I have a question. Do other people's bodies block nade damage? Can I like use you as a human shield if there's a nade? We'll ask our interviewer later that same question.
I don't think so. But go ahead. Yeah, we'll ask. We'll ask
later. Where we at now? Replay 18. Thanks, chat. I love you guys. This one is a Sorrento just trying to get this defense, but like we said, VGG just come in from every direction and in sync. I mean, there's nothing you can do. You can't shoot 3 people in 3 directions.
No, but what you can do is back up into a corner so that you limit the number you have to shoot, right? Like that's where, again, it's all about the positioning. If you're the guy, the attacker, whatever, you try and put yourself in a situation where you only have to deal with one at a time if such a position exists, right? But yeah, blitzkrieg tactics from VGG again and again and again. They just come in so aggressively, coordinated, and yeah, unless you got the numbers on your side or you're just very lucky, you're gonna get multi-pronged attack, and yeah, unless you've factored that in, there's no way you can defend against more than one person, let alone 3 or 4 of them like blasting in on all radiuses.
Yeah, and it's interesting watching the CTA player there. I think it's blue, but I'm not 100% sure. But traditionally, you try to get in there very similar to swimwear on site, but he waits. He knows his teammate's flanking from A main. He knows his teammate has bridge control. He knows he doesn't have to get involved in sight until they're ready to help him, and he just waits. And because of that, Sorrento's not able to pick him up. Maybe if he comes around that corner and Sorrento fights that 1v1, like you were saying, Radar, he gets that pick and maybe turns it into a 2v1. But because he waits and doesn't give him anything, Sorrento's essentially screwed.
Yep.
Yeah, and I mean, I would really love to hear some team comms. Like, I would love to be in there and be able to hear that, because that's probably exactly what was said, right? There's one guy left. He's on site. We have control. Get in position, tell me when, and then go. And that's like, that's exactly what happened.
Been watching, I've been, on watching it on the scrims with boss fight, and they do that a lot. Right, I'm in position, you're in position, right, go in 3, 2, 1, and they like blast in as a 2 or 3 man team to take a position. Just because, as we saw, you can't be, your gun can't be in 2 places at once, right? So, roll the next clip. AI.
Next clip, AI says Ramen taking a 1v1, and Ramen on the defense here, just playing a little bit of ring around the rosy. VGG Cray looking for this kill, but Ramen popping up and getting it, and some of that first person action that everyone's asking for.
Oh, I can't. There's an update coming for that, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh my god,
I'm so fired up. I'm so fired up for that.
Guys, if you thought last weekend was good casting, just wait.
And if you didn't think it was good casting, get the out of here. I need a bleep button.
Blame Etch. Etch is in chat. At Etch. Just add him.
Yeah, it's always Etch's fault, just so everyone knows. So just hit up Etch, let him know.
Yep, let him know how you feel. Let's move on to clip number 10, and this is, I believe, the last clip from the VGG Redshift match, which is Ray winning a 1v1 here on site. Goes for the scan, gets it off, and I wasn't really expecting him to get that scan off. I was expecting him to just fight it out.
Redshift needed that point as well. 1 versus 1. He just comes straight in. Yeah, he doesn't stand back. Like a lot of players would stand back and go, right, I've got the scan, I need to stay alive. He goes aggressive into it. So
yeah, that was a good swing by Cray there. And against Chewy too, right? Like Chewy's no slouch, like we were touching on before. Like that's a big win from Cray. And you're right, 9-5 here, right? This puts VGG into match point for the map with 6 rounds almost that they can throw, essentially, without losing. So that's a pretty huge round from Cray. And like good plant too, like really quick plant. 1v1, get a little sweaty, like nice.
Look at the timing.
Nice.
Let's roll it one more time. Look at the timing. So Cray stops and looks and then gives up on the angle, and then you see that laser come right back through from Chewy.
10 seconds though.
Like he stops, he looks, he says nope, and then Chewy's laser right there. Like the timing on that is so close.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a close engagement. Cray's got about 10% health left after that engagement. You see the blood come off him. You know, he does. It could have gone either way. I mean, a great play by Cray, but it definitely could have played against him. And given that the scan had just gone out, that would have been a free disable. No doubt about it.
I did lie. That was not the last clip. This one is the last clip. This is game point VGG Redshift.
Bad AI. Bad.
I'm sorry, because
That flash coming out there. Not being taken advantage of. They didn't push off of the Flash Illumi Sniper there, but he can't go anywhere, so they push afterwards.
Oh, look at the flex at the end. I love the flex. The Cray flex. I think it was Cray.
Let's
Just
do it again. Let's
just
do it again. Let's
smash
see
those
it.
guns out.
Let's see it.
Is it Cray?
I'm sorry, because
Oh, see.
Cray
Yeah,
definitely
close.
got blinded too there. I
Look
think
at me.
that's why they
Look
didn't
at this.
push.
You got like a 4-man hold of that. BGG and having none of it. Flex, baby. Urgh.
You love it. You love it. All right, let's see what we got next. More VGG action. Who did they play after Redshift?
They played
This is more Redshift.
against Meme Team, I believe.
Sorry, this is map 2 because there were 2 maps this weekend.
Mar.
I forgot that we went on to Mar. Here we go. This is T.
Mar, what a
with the
great
close,
map, by the way.
close
Such a
quarter nade
diff-
kill.
like, straight up change from Kitty and Suna. I mentioned it in last week's episode, but it's such a different map.
Yo, Mar rips.
So
No, look at that.
So
Look at that beautiful-
dirty.
This is what I was talking about. Actually, like a guy
Go for it.
times it, pops it around the corner at a guy. He's like, he doesn't know the person's there, but
I feel
he
like
guesses, right?
he knew he was there.
Well, I mean, like an educated guess. Pop goes the weasel.
I like how he bounced it off the other boxes there too, like to get like, just super dirty. I would feel bad if I got naded like that. I'd feel bad.
You know, it was interesting watching on the weekend how quickly players adapted the changes on Catwalk there. Because you remember like a week or two ago, those cats were covered and throwing nades onto, you know, A cat and B cat, like where Rayab traditionally holds, was difficult. And players like within like a couple of days were just tossing pre-nades there like every single round. And we saw a lot of kills with those nades, a lot of entries without even bullets fired. So just like, kudos for everybody that adjusted really quickly to that. Well done.
AI, next clip, please.
Clip number 92.
This is
95?
Avocado
71.
holding a really strong angle here, and not one that we normally saw on this particular doorway, right? We usually saw people up the stairs or inside like the door at the corner there.
Doesn't quite get the 3K.
That's off
That
meta
time.
for
I
sure.
think he might have got it another time.
It's off meta and it's super risky because you've got the height, you know, either side of you, above you, you've got the door to his right, you've got behind him. It's a very risky move in that point. I mean, I guess maybe he knew the other areas were covered so that you could afford to hold there.
Yeah.
But definitely not where you wouldn't expect someone to be there because tactically it seems like a weak position to hold from.
Yeah, you come in, when you go around those corners, left or right, coming out of that refinery area, you're looking towards the staircase every single time.
This next clip might actually be one of my favorite clips from the entire weekend. This one is Chewy down below taking out Craze. He goes across the zip line and just gets obliterated
Such a
from below.
great- Yeah.
I like the body just going limp and falling, like the gun going and the body going. And he's just like, Such a good play.
Brilliant.
We saw a couple of good zipline kills. We saw a couple of zip lines actually getting the kills, and then we saw a couple of lava deaths too.
Oh yeah, yeah, we did see a few lava deaths. They were again lava deaths, even from high-level teams as well. Like people backing off, firing into the lava. You love to see it.
All right, next clip. This is Chewy once again, trying to clutch up here.
There's the second kill.
He gets one.
Question is,
He goes for the scan, and I think he does the one hand.
He's got one hand on the gun.
Oh no, he doesn't.
Taken out.
Just can't do it. Can't make it. And then the spray at the end. The spray. I saw a lot more sprays than I was expecting.
That was a weird clip. I don't know. I was like waiting for something to happen there. Bad AI.
Bad
clip
AI. Okay, this next one's a nade though, so it can't be bad, right? Nade clips are always good. They can't be bad. Pixel perfect nade from Chewy on from T? No, from Chewy. Yeah. Bounces off the backboard right in front of T. Like,
Piece of art.
what do you do when you see a nade just like up here in front of you? You're like, oh god.
Great nade. Great nade. Again, working off the angles.
Speaking of angles, you know what? Let's take a break. Let's get our interviewer in and let's give him a chat because we're looking at Mar and we really want to talk about it with the man, the myth, the legend. Not Sayo. Absolutely not that one. I got this. Here we go.
Poor Sayo. All right.
There he is, John Cletus himself.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, man. How are you?
Good.
So I take it you're the man responsible for getting rid of the kind of silo site that was off to the west of the map.
Oh yeah, that was like one of the first.
I didn't realize that'd gone, and I went to run there the other day, and I was completely going. I was crestfallen. It was I used to just hang out there, play hide and seek with my buds, and you got rid of it, and I need to hear you defend yourself as to why you did that, man. You gotta think you have to think about the effects you have on people when you remove big areas of the map that are pointless and don't serve any purpose but are fun to run around.
So we will be bringing it back for other game modes. Yeah, like we didn't remove. Well, I mean, right now it's removed entirely, but it is still like saved. So for bigger game modes, things like that, like we do want to have that area, and especially like social modes if people want to like, I don't know, film them holding hands by the lava or some weirdness. We'll definitely give them that option. But for artifact or competitive, not only was it just a lot of dead space, and we were trying to solve like the A-long issue, it was also just way too unoptimized as far as like triangle count and how much it added. So we just kind of took it out entirely.
So I mean, Mar is the map that we've seen iteratively get improved week on week. Well, it feels like every week we see like an improvement, a change to it. And can you talk us through some of that process, where these design changes are coming from, and what fuels those changes? Oh
yeah, so a lot of it is kind of like back and forth. We'll scrim on it, we'll watch teams play on it. Some teams will have a certain opinion, another team will want things to be the complete opposite way. So for the most part, we've been hands off, like more quality of life improvements. We realize like people don't like having little seams to get shot from an upper catwalk, or seeing player outlines, like basically giving away position, things like that. And then more importantly, the people on like 1080s or even 20 series having performance issues. So a lot of it was just kind of cleaning up the map, making it a lot more tight. But when we did get to like the gameplay and balance changes, it was just kind of simplifying the map down, which a lot of the like Pavlov and CSGO players will like that. And then the Onward players will be like, no, I want it to be wide open. So it's kind of been like a back and forth to make them both happy. But I think it's coming along well, like especially with A site, it used to be a lot less tactical. You would just kind of have to wing it, run in there and clear the site, and even then you're still getting shot from like 90 different angles, so there's like no way to like you probably look like a siege player trying to cover all those angles. So
I I like the little the grenade portholes that you put in. I love those. Just a little. Oh, it's going to pop a grenade through this window. It's just perfect. It's exactly what you need to try. Because otherwise, it's a real hard entry point, right? Like I like the little thoughts bits like that.
And to see players use those so much was honestly really surprising. Like we kind of threw it in like, oh, maybe someone will notice it and try to get an early flash down there, or get a util, like a nade kill. But they've been using it like frequently in all the matches I've been seeing, so that's been good to see too. We actually have a little bit of that language in Suna as well, on a site that I haven't seen used too often, but.
Oh no, I know exactly that. So as you come, some people to the left, you've got that gap, right? So if you go on the left wide, you can slot the nades through that gap. Is that what
you like bounce it off the wall and it slots through. It actually lands in a really good place for a long as well.
Oh, you'll see that. Trust me, when we get to the finals, you'll see that a lot from these teams. So they know exactly what they're doing with that slot.
Oh yeah, Matt H probably like dual nades gonna like double down.
Zuck, you look like you had a question.
No, I was gonna say those slots on Suna are really, really tough to get nades into. But I mean, I might as well roll with the question. What do you think some of the bigger changes that you've made on it that have impacted it? Because I know from playing Pugs, 2-3 months ago, nobody would ever play Mar, and now there are people that legitimately like Mar as their favorite map, which we never had that before. So clearly, you've done something right. What do you think were some of the bigger changes that you want to talk about?
I mean, the biggest thing, other than the optimization and kind of dumbing down the sights and just setting up those crossfires and making sure the angles feel a little nicer, would be really we've just tried to like make the language of the map a little bit more easier to read. Before, you had a lot of players that didn't play the map, they didn't know the map, some even refused to scrim on the map. So I think the biggest thing is that now that these players are like, oh, damn, like I have to play Mar, and they're starting to actually, give the map a shot and play on it a little bit, they're starting to like the map a little bit more and understand why it's the way it is, as far as, zip lines, streaming rotates, high risk areas, things like that. So, I think it's just all kind of coming together in the sense that, players are starting to understand the map a lot more, and, it's affected how they've enjoyed it.
Well, I mean, a map like Mar adds so much more complexity to tactics, but also to map design when predominantly because of the verticality, right? Because there's not you're not just thinking on a 2D plane anymore, like Suna, predominantly apart from B side, it's very much 2D. Apart from that little ladder and that little bit there, you look at Mar, it's all verticality. We saw so many people taking those middle areas and covering down, like we saw both the playoffs, like teams specifically on attack taking 3 or 4 people, taking the high road and just holding all those high angles, looking into A and B side, right?
Oh yeah, and like before I even had touched the map, just like looking at the concept, I was sweating, because like if you look at some of my previous maps, I stayed away from verticality, I stayed away from elevation, I didn't even have ladders. Like I tried to keep it like that Counter-Strike, bare bones, but it actually came out a lot better than I'd anticipated. Like there were some times where we would look at like a site and just be like, there's so much going on here. Like we have verticality, we have entry from pretty much every point of the site. We have most of the entry being upstairs, but the actual site is downstairs. Like it was very hard to wrap my head around, but with some testing, I think we probably went through like 4 or 5 revisions of a site before we settled on the one that we're using now. But yeah, it's I don't know. The one thing that I normally judge a map on is if I actually scrim on it, if I play on it, and I just get that like competitive feeling, like that drive. You get enjoyment. The map. So like for example, if you ran in the rock tunnel, there was someone camping the zip line into A1. You took that zip line behind them and then shot it up. I mean, obviously before the zip line noise, but just kind of like there's so many options in Mar that I'm not used to like giving players, but I think it's worked out honestly for the most part.
The thing I love about the zip lines, apart from the ones that go straight up, the horizontal ones, there's so many like little meta plays now where you try and use that noise to bait people. People coming off early and taking unexpected angles. So coordinated plays with people with rotating on the zips, but they'd have to call for the teammate to create a distraction because you needed to get back, but when you're going on this horizontal line that zips, especially the southernmost one that's near the colonist spawn.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that one, like that's so many angles you can hold to take people down who are rotating using that zip. That you need to create a distraction. That's another level that they've had to think about, right? I need a distraction and you to make some noise to cover my zip, otherwise I'm not gonna be able to get back in time quickly.
It can be punishing too. 2 of those zip lines are all the way across the map. So if you're a colonist, you just took sight and you're not watching those zip lines, like that can bite you in the ass really quick too. Just not holding that sight line. Most of the entries of the zip lines are in places that you can actually plant the bomb for and hold. So, you need that utility player that's going to watch that rotate and, watch that side of the map and the bomb. So.
How are you feeling about the state of MAR? Obviously, like optimization is kind of a continuous thing that you're probably always working on, but like layout wise, play wise, having seen it now in 2 brackets of playoffs, not sure if you had a chance to watch any of those matches, but some of them have been pretty good, and it feels right now pretty good to play. How do you feel about it as like the map designer for it? Like, do you foresee maybe after Miami some changes or anything else that you'd like to like get done on it? What are your thoughts there?
Honestly, I think just refinement. We are still going to do a heavy art pass, make the map look extremely cool. It's still pretty bare bones in that aspect, but other than that, I mean, more of a Suna treatment, pixel peaks, unfair or unintended pieces of cover, things like that. We don't really foresee changing it up like crazy again, but we do want to make it tighter and more competitive to play on, get rid of some of the BS spots and stuff.
Cool. Yeah, I think overall the feedback on the map that I've received, like I said, like in Pugs like 2 months ago, good luck getting anyone to play a Pug on anything but Suna or Kiwi, right?
Oh yeah.
And then obviously during qualifiers it was just all Suna, and now people are asking to Pug MAR. Yeah, they got to play it in playoffs. They got to force themselves to play it. Not everybody maybe fully enjoys it or whatever, but I legit know people that like actually like that map as their favorite map more than Suna, which is saying something. So.
Yeah, I mean, when you have that many options on a map too, the one thing that I love seeing is most of these matches that I have been watching on MAR have been like neck and neck every time. And to me, that simplifies, like, it really comes down to raw skill on that map and tactics versus, it being overly CT sided or overly T sided. So.
Radar, I'm not hearing you anymore.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Radar's talking or if Radar's just getting fired up on cam without saying words. Might be talking.
Radar, have you tried turning it off and back on again? It's violently typing something.
No dice. No
It
dice.
is definitely not there. I just want to point out why Radar fixes that. I want to point out how cold it is in the Axlab office because they're in Miami and John is wearing a hoodie and a beanie and everyone in the background is wearing a hoodie too.
Oh yeah.
I've been warned about that. Actually, Rips was telling me that even though I'm flying down from Canada to Miami, that I need to pack a sweater for the Axlab office, which I was kind of like, why? He's like, no, like, dude, like you got to.
It's like a hospital in here. I mean, sometimes like my hands will still be numb. I'm wearing like full kit, so.
Oh man, I used to work in an office that kept it cold where I would we were talking about getting like little heaters that went above your keyboard to heat your hands because I couldn't like type well.
Oh, cold hands are the worst.
Yeah.
So there's actually a funny story behind that. We had gotten a bunch of these little mini portable heaters and we started putting them next to the keyboards to keep your hands warm. And it turns out heaters draw like insane power. So we just kept getting power outages. Like you'd have the heater on for like 1 minute and then everything would shut off, start flickering. The UPCs are freaking out. You're like, oh, fuck. But
that's funny.
All right, Radar, are you back?
Can you guys hear me now?
You're back.
Yes, get in. Not completely. Zuck, my audio cut out when you asked that question because I was asking exactly the same question. So, like, I started to say it. You just spoke over the top of me, not realize. Like, I was like, oh, maybe they can't hear me. So I just started making funny noises throughout that, and thank gosh, couldn't hear me.
Yeah, otherwise that's kind of rude.
No. I can't remember what I was going to say about Ma now. It was going to be the most insightful question we've had all night, but I can't remember it. So
Ah,
All right, then I'll ask what everybody wants to hear and what everybody's currently posting in chat.
Boy.
Dig when?
very soon.
Okay, cool.
As far as like future artifact maps, I think the community will really like the direction we're going. You know, you're gonna have maps like Mar, you're gonna have maps like Dig, like you're gonna have maps that cater to different play styles. But yeah, Dig very soon.
Hype.
Nice.
Hype. I know there was a very broken version of it at some point in the game. But I mean, I'm not a Pavlov player, Dirty Onward player, right? So like, I don't know Dig, but everybody that I've kind of made friends with from Pav that I know are good players speaks very highly of it. So I'm super excited for it.
Well, Zuck, you're a Veil player now, baby. Anyway,
That's true.
My question was actually going to be when we started playing that map, you know, and as the iterations, you know, began rolling in, it was predominantly seen as a colonist-sided map, right? And that was where the early advantage was because it was so hard to hold those sites. And you said you were closing them off, especially on A side. There's so many attack angles. How do you hold it? How you must have been seeing a swing now, slowly evening that up, so the colonists don't have such an advantage over Rayab. Are there any more further steps, or are you happy with the balance that you're seeing now?
Well, so we had a swing actually recently that favored defenders. You know, I've been talking to Globo Kim about it, but it's not there now. But basically the issue had been with the upper catwalk. You know, now that you have those L-shaped entries to access the zip lines, the defenders could, like, there's basically a line cutting upper catwalk in half that defenders could hold up there and have the advantage, or, you know, peeker's advantage. But you know, we fixed a lot of that. I actually recently removed a nasty crossfire from A site because after playing it myself and abusing it, I realized like there's no way that a defender could like retake site with two attackers that, you know, have a good game sense and aim and whatnot. So I don't know if you remember, or I might even be able to, well, yeah, we're not on Discord, but on A site in the back, like where you enter from A long, you used to have those triple stack crates, and then on site you have your little rat spot, like the crates on site that people like to hide behind. When you combine those two together and you have that nasty crossfire, you know, the person there, the only place they're exposed is if someone went all the way through the power station and attacked them from behind at A long. They're not going to get shot from control center, so they can camp that while the person behind the crates on site can hear the zip lines and they can hear people coming from mid. So like that was just such a powerful position on A. That was probably one of the more recent like balance changes that we've done. But I don't know. So far watching the matches, like it always seems neck and neck now, which is what I like to see. You know, Dig's very similar in that aspect where you'll get a lot of like 9-9s, you know, always down to the wire. So yeah.
It's an interesting map in that you have to approach it, right, where you play a little bit more for map control than necessarily for site control. So you can get away with some, you know, traditionally more bold plays, like a little bit more mid pressure or whatever, which makes it very interesting. I mean, we saw throughout day 1 and day 2 of playoffs that, I mean, I casted Arrow 4-4, I think for day 2 maybe or something like that. They didn't even play a site as defenders. They just like ran out there and like had like map control and it worked for them, right? So like there's variations. Like there's probably a standard way to play it, but like where your mid player plays, there you can play lower, you can play upper, he can play from different catwalks. He can sit back in red room and help A. He can sit back in the, you know, that back ladder for the balcony on the like armory side catwalk. And even how you're holding site, like you can play retake, you can play aggressive, you have a lot of options, right? So like as teams play the map more and more, like I'm sure like a meta will emerge a little bit more. But I, for one, I appreciate maps that are a little bit more, you know, 3-dimensional or, you know, even 4D chess, right? Make those kinds of play. And we saw those plays with, you know, big rotates using the zip lines and even some like control, like flanking around the site, just the way that where the sites are positioned versus, you know, Sunar Kitty, you can come from behind both of them, right? Which makes it completely different in that aspect as teams kind of, so like personally, like me, I think the map's awesome. I really like playing it. You know, I liked it enough when it was originally a map, but some of the changes to like longer sight lines and just the layout of the map and cleaning up, but like decomplexifying, but also giving some angles to defenders and stuff like that were good changes. Good changes, in my opinion.
Appreciate that. Yeah, that was honestly my personal favorite change, was just blocking those crazy long sight lines across the map. So, you know, the attackers have a little bit more layaway to sneak into the condensation room or armory site, compared to, you know, the early revisions of Mar. It was almost like a battlefield map. Like, you just had people shooting you across the map. You didn't know which angle, where it's coming from. The other interesting thing is, like, it's not the type of map as a defender where you can just, like you were saying earlier, you can't just assign like one guy to mid, because if he goes lower, he still loses control of you know, that half of the map. Or if he goes upper, then he loses control of that. So it's like, it does take a lot more thinking, especially with the rotates. You know, you give the attackers time to set up on site, then the zip lines can become useless. So
Yep.
So I've got one more question before we sign off on this awesome interview on Mar. Unless Zuck has another one. Is why Mar? What's the reasoning behind the name? Can you give us some kind of?
So the naming of Mar,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to dig that up.
Ooh, are we gonna get a lore drop on stream?
I
Has this been announced before?
don't think
Now,
so.
I've actually, so I've gone over Kidi and why it's named Kidi and stuff like that, but with Mar, oh shit, there's a whole booklet.
Book.
I gotta see if I'm even allowed to read this, actually.
That's fine. Let's read it.
This is crazy. There's a lot of lore behind Mar.
Okay.
I know we'll be revealing more soon, but most of our naming conventions have to do with, you know, real world inspiration or things like that. Some of them also have like Rayab tinges or colonist tinges, but yeah, there's a lot on Mar that I don't want him to kill me, but
I know
Fair enough.
we played a Mar intro video over the weekend, and now I don't remember if it actually like explained any of that either. I don't remember what's in the video.
I don't think it does either. Come on, John, just tell us.
Yeah,
Have no fear, brother.
Nobody will know. Nobody.
Everyone who's watching Peaky Promise, not the
While-
same thing. Everyone,
while-
Yeah, no,
we're waiting-
disable clips, quick.
While
Let
we're
me
waiting
see.
for John to not get fired, we're gonna do a giveaway for that Bobo strap while he checks on whether he can actually say this or not.
let me just get some approval. Yeah, I'll be right
We'll
back.
be back.
Look at that. Ooh.
So the
Oh, you want
code
this.
is Zuck Dash, ZUCCSTACHE. Rub it, stroke it, stroke the stash, stroke it,
Zuck Stash.
stroke the stash. Yeah,
That's
that's the
toxic.
code. Put it in chat. If you're not a
In
staff
20
member,
in 20
if you're a
days,
staff
Zuck, I'm
member
gonna
and you
do
put
that
it in
in
chat,
person.
I'm docking your pay.
Only if I could rub your head for good luck.
No, dude, that's
Ooh.
all we're gonna be doing
Wait,
on live
if-
on camera. Just,
if
just
you-
wanna be- I'm gonna be
If
like-
you rub his head and you rub your staff. What do I? Oh, I know what I rub. The third one. Ooh.
The third one.
Yeah, you know.
Question mark?
You know. I know you know.
If you know, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You have to know the full gamer tag to know what I'm talking about. That's really what it is.
Zucchini. Oh,
Oh, my name, my gamer tag.
Oh.
Oh.
Then okay,
Wow,
we're gonna
who
be
hired these guys? My God.
triple
Literally
nil.
you.
Let's roll some more clips while waiting for Mr. Clee to
Yeah,
come back.
I just found a great one, so we're gonna run this one. It might be the only clip of the weekend, but this is Blue dying to lava.
Blue's gonna wait patiently, wait for the shots here.
Oh, yeah, I remember this.
Oh, I remember this.
Aggressive firefight, and I was so confused.
there it is.
I was like, "Wait, what happened?" And then I backed up, and I was like, "Oh, he's dead."
Yeah, we is that on? Can't no. I think in one of the matches that Rips and I covered,
Oh, he's back.
Oh, he's back.
we had one lava kill.
Look, he's back.
Right. Okay.
I got the green light.
All right, let's
All
go.
right.
So as far as the actual name, it's more of a geographical term. So the actual term Mar stands for a broad, shallow crater, typically filled by a lake formed by a volcanic eruption with very little lava. So really the name itself is just a broad overview of
a
like
description of the right. Yeah. I like it.
right. But as far as like the actual lore, it'd help if I didn't have like 80 tabs open. There we go. So after a severe earthquake, Raab's largest geothermal station, Mar, fell into a precarious position. So all the chaos unleashed by the earthquake had distracted the colonists. So the colonist operators are using this as an opportunity to secure an artifact at Mar, letting them access and destabilize Raab's energy grid. So geothermal energy utilizes steam from natural sources, such as geysers or drawing water from the hot, high-pressure depths. I'm not going to go into all of this because it really is like a whole novel, but for players themselves, we have been sneaking lore into maps. Mar does contain a very minor bit of lore,
More.
but more. But definitely look out for it with this coming art pass. We have a lot of cool stuff for Mar in particular that you'll already notice in the existing version, but it won't kind of pop out to you until the art pass is finished.
Cool. I love little Easter eggs like that.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys watched my stream. I think it was day 2, which we're not talking about today. But when we had a break, we sat on the map and discussed geothermal power and how it worked for like 10 minutes.
That's
Nice.
content.
Yep.
Yeah, that's casting, baby. All right, John, thank you very much for your time. It's been inspirational and insightful. I look forward to, in the future, talking about some future maps that are coming out when they've come out, I guess.
Absolutely, yeah. Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah,
Thanks
thank
a lot
you.
for joining
We
us,
will
John.
see you in Miami.
Oh,
Yeah,
heck yeah.
man.
I'd
I'm
see you,
excited.
dude.
All right.
Nice.
Alrighty. What do we got after that?
All right,
We got a couple more
Trip.
clips.
I'm gonna say, with all the clips that we have, how many more clips have we got left to go?
7?
Oh, is that it?
I think so.
So we've got like 50 of VGG versus Redshift, and then 7 of the entire rest of the. One.
Incorrect. This is also VGG Redshift.
Oh my goodness.
Completely ignored my clips, man.
I was not in charge. The AI
Do we have any Royal
is in
Strive,
charge.
like the amazing Royal Strive double nades and things?
I do, but they're from playoff 2.
No.
Yes.
No, they're not.
Royal. No. Wait. Who do I have? No, sorry,
know.
I do not have those. No. I have different double nades.
Okay. From Matt H?
No.
Ah.
I'm not seeing any of
Okay.
those.
All right, fair enough. Well, anyway, AI, roll next clip.
Next clip is a nade. Which is number this one. Yes.
I've never seen anybody die to the lava yet. I didn't even know that was a walkable area where you could actually die. That's good to
Wait,
know.
it says that.
I didn't know that. I
Who
didn't
threw
know
that nade?
Oh,
Oh, there. I was
the
like, it says
rebounder.
it was a nade from Chewy, but that one missed. And then I saw the second one. I was like, huh. Okay. All right.
Nice.
All right.
I mean, that was plainly an accident bounce, but you love to see it, right? Especially when it's your nade and you're like, oh, well, you whiff it, you see the guy go left, you've thrown it straight, you get a rebound you didn't even know about till the kill comes out. Awesome. And the thing is, now that they've added the trails as well, I mean, that would have been hard to identify without the trails, right? And we saw like the bounce. Perfect.
Yeah, the trails were an awesome change, like for caster visibility. Like now that we can actually see exactly where they came from.
I love it. And they're getting
That's
more
so good.
improvement soon.
Yeah, I'm excited for
Hashtag
that
soon.
as well. Yeah, it's always a guessing game of what utility it is.
All right, we got 3 double kills in a row here. This first one is T getting a double kill. Coming in from the side, 1, 2, there it is. Cleaning that up. And then the next one
Boom.
is 4. This one is a double kill from T as well. T doing a pretty good job here. A nice flash and then an aggressive push on the catwalk. one.
I was gonna say
And then
they
a
lined up. They
repeat,
didn't-
and yeah, they
Nice.
didn't line up. They almost lined up. It was definitely a concern at that point. And then we have a 2 kill from Sorrento here
Off B site. Chewy
on site.
already ahead of this on the other side, expecting for one of them to start pushing.
That's
in
such a
very
tight
quickly.
angle he's holding there onto T. Gets that one, and then gets the one up top as well on Nazumi.
Nice.
Oh, and here's another 2K from Nazumi. Which is match point for VGG here. Nazumi
Again, an
1v2.
Guys, everyone go back and watch this match. Just an absolute stormer of a match between VGG and Redshift.
Go back and watch
Boom,
all of
victory.
it. This whole weekend was epic. I mean, so many good plays. So many.
Yeah.
So is that us done for all the replays?
I think so.
Oh.
I have a flash in here. I don't
well-
know what this is. Let's hit it.
I
don't think we have any flash plays.
Oh, this is T's fake flash.
Oh,
He
that's
does
what
the
this
simple
is.
flash. He throws his pistol here.
I was like, this just
Outfakes Froke so much. Check it. He comes in.
The
Gets real
title is
scared.
literally T flashes Froke, and I'm like, what? Okay, run it again. Here we go. Explain.
Yeah, you can see. So Froke's coming in here. T's holding the angle in alley. T, I can't really see the stream quality so low. And I think right here he throws the pistol like as a flash. Froke freaks out and he just comes out and deletes him.
It works.
Nice.
Things you can do
so
in
then,
VR.
Of course, the match we haven't spoken about is VGG VAIL versus Royal Strive, and VGG put up a great fight on Kitty against Royal Strive, and these were the two big heavyweights of Group 1 by the end of it, right? Like the Chemical Jokers put up a good fight against Royal Strive, but I mean they got beaten 22-10, so and that was it for Royal Strive. Everyone else Royal Strive faced against, they did beat them 22-3, 22-3. And for VGG, they beat Redshift 22-14, a very close match. And then they beat Meme Team 22-6 and Pink Misters 22-1, right? So these were very definitely the two dominant teams coming to this. There was no accident. Well, there was no kind of like, this isn't VGG lucking out or Royal Strive lucking out and then like, it coming down to the third map, the last point. Could have been either. No, this was blatantly going to be these two teams coming through. If you look at just at the numbers. And on Kitty, it was 11-7 to Royal Strive. VGG were not falling for Royal Strive's plays, but the difference was that Royal Strive were able to deal with VGG's aggression, like the counter plays. So even though VGG wasn't falling for Royal Strive's trickery, Royal Strive were able to adapt and shut down the kind of very forward aggression that VGG was playing off. And then on Mar, it was a much more one-sided match to Royal Strive. Again, VGG put a respectable 5 points on the board. Receptacles.
Receptacle. Receptacle.
Decepticons. So they put up like a great fight on Mar, but again, it's one of those maps, obviously, favored Royal Strive's playstyle more in this situation. And Royal Strive took the day. It didn't go to the third map. We all kind of wanted it to, but Royal Strive, clearly the dominant force in that fight with Royal Strive. It's against VGG, so it was 22-12 in the end for Royal Strive, taking Group 1, being the first team to make it to the Miami Major to secure the spot. VGG, definitely at this stage, the best team not to qualify.
Did I hear
that?
Did I hear that right?
Yeah,
best team not to qualify for Group 1. I mean,
Okay. Now he's like qualifying it. He's being very precise with his wordings.
I said that, baby. I know what I said. That's not to count out other great teams. We saw Redshift put up one hell of a fight against VGG, and Chemical Jokers also put up a good fight against Royal Strive. So and there were other teams that I've not mentioned because I didn't see their games. Like I know Meme Team had some great games, etc. I know the Boogie Woogie Bandits played also. They had a close game against
One Hand
Chemical Jokers as well.
And and Chemical Jokers. Yeah.
Honorable mention, everyone who took part, congratulations. Some people got knocked out straight away who could have got much further if they were lucky enough to go against someone else. But at the end of the day, the two teams who deserved to be in the final of that group were in the final, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would definitely agree there, and I think the late addition of T on Vanguard Gaming Gold was pretty big. He had some pretty sick plays for them throughout the day, and Neuro Toxic Boss for Royal Strive, insane. Couple of huge rounds that he had no business winning. And the other thing that
Neuro, the MVP of the entire Group 1 stage for me. That guy was just on fire.
Yeah, I played against him in Contractors. I don't suggest that anybody play against him in Contractors, and his skills transitioned really nicely into VAIL, and he's been like a threat. Like I pugged with him probably almost hundreds of times at this point now, and he's always a threat. Really good dude. I really like him, but he was on fire on Saturday, hitting some incredible shots on all kinds of sliver angles, like just shots that I don't see other people hit. He was hitting consistently. But that's the other thing that I saw too that came out of Royal Strive that was really, really imperative and big up for their success was we talked about earlier how VGG has a tendency to save their utility and use it very smartly. So when a team is executing into VGG, they have a tendency to fall back a little bit, toss some nades and smokes to delay them, catch them out of position, maybe get an entry or two with those nades. But Royal Strive was ready for that. When they smoked, they waited. When they naded, they were aware of it. And they made the correct adjustments to avoid that utility use, so they still came into the site strong. That's not to say that VGG folded every single time that they attacked them on a site. They won lots of those rounds, but that was really the difference maker for Royal Strive, especially on Kitty, where nades are just huge factors.
But counterpoint is that VGG did exactly the same thing with Royal Strive. We saw Royal Strive getting these double kills with the nades round after round against top teams like Chemical Jokers, but VGG weren't falling for it. They were not in the place that Royal Strive wanted to be for those artillery strikes. And again, you saw that Royal Strive acknowledged that after about the third round of defense for Royal Strive, they just stopped trying. They're like, right, we're going to save these up. Like you said, they adapted. They realized these strikes weren't working against this team, so they stopped wasting their utility. And that's so important for these top teams to identify when things aren't working, change it up.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not. What's the point? Let's hold on to these utilities. They're holding back. They're not playing the places we need them to play for this utility to work. So let's hold on to it and use it in a more constructive manner. Yeah,
that's really just in a nutshell top team mind games, right? Mm-hmm. There's so much like inner strategy to playing it, like micro plays within rounds that can really turn something around and be a huge difference maker. We saw in every single match this weekend that individually someone would make a big play, and that is what led them to have that map control and therefore win the round. Whereas both those teams on Kitty and on Mar were making the adjustments on the fly. It's kind of, I think you're going to do this. Well, I'm going to be one step ahead. That whole chess match of strategy down to the individual level and how individuals were playing their spots. So kudos to both those teams for making those reads, making those changes, making those plays. That is not easy. That is, only a small percentage of top teams are capable of doing. So, and I agree. I think both of those teams deserve to be in that finals matchup. And it was very exciting. Like I went back and watched it back. Like it's a really exciting match. Full of really good plays.
Oh, absolutely. Hopefully, we've got Group 2 to go through next week. Those some amazing matches as well, and I can't wait to get on those next week. However, Trip, there's a lot of replays which are fantastic from Playoff 1, which hopefully we'll see if we get a chance, maybe to see next week.
Yeah, I think we're gonna get some actual, highlight reels versus just clips, because clips just don't really do it justice, especially when you're talking about the plays for like VGG and Royal Strive and those continuous fake outs that kept happening, and team like it's not just a one action thing, right? It's a build up across the day and like across the match, and you really have to tell that story, and I feel like a highlight reel is what's needed.
Oh yeah. As long as absolutely, 100%. Right. So two things. We've obviously got the Bobo giveaway to come on to, but first, have you got any graphic for the upcoming weekend's matches? We've got Group 3 and Group 4 to come, ladies and gentlemen.
I do, sir. I believe the AI has prepared us a beautiful Group 3, Group 4.
All right, so my call for Group 3 was Vortex to take it, but Dark Matter are going to put up a great fight. Now, again, I'm not just... It's my ignorance the reason why I haven't named any others. For some reason, in Group 3, there's lots of teams that I just don't know much about. So Dark Matter, I know, is one who've been putting in the time. But
Yeah.
Vortex are one of my favorites for the entire thing. So we'll see. Can anyone stop Vortex in the Group 3 stage? I really kind of hope someone comes real close to doing it or does it, because that was going to be an amazing match if it comes to that.
We're certainly going to try, but I wouldn't count Raptors or Unicorn Holder list out either.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
Both, like, Raptors obviously has onward championship pedigree under their belts, right? But Unicorn Holders I kind of view as the dark horse in this group. It really, to me, how well they play depends on how Rips is feeling on that particular day. So that's anybody's guess on how well they do and go deep. I know Vegan as well has been putting a lot of work in. Teku, I see scrimming a lot. BGP, they play a lot. Like there's teams on here that you know, one thing I noticed, the biggest takeaway for me on Group 1, and I'm going to give a team a huge props here, is VAIL Meme Team. A team that I saw go through a couple of qualifier stages before actually making it, played awesome on Saturday and really, really surprised me coming into that. So I wouldn't be surprised if some of the other teams that I'm not necessarily looking at surprise again, right? So
awesome. And then Group 4, Group 4 is just mind blower. My Group 4 is, in my opinion, the highest known mean level of skill. Like, I'm not saying, you know, fine, we don't have the big bads like Vortex, Rect, or Royal Strive in there, but just the level of the teams in there is so high. You got Havoc, and again, if I don't see your name, it's not because I don't think you're good. I just probably don't know. Like, I haven't had the joy of seeing you play yet. You got Havoc, boom. Sleepy Juice, boom. Defcon, boom. Doctor, boom. Peacekeepers, Orange Men, I don't know anything about. Tempo, boom. Narcos, I don't know anything about. Globochem, boom. Cobra Cartel, and Artifacts. I've seen or had the joy to play or seen them in the qualifiers or seen scrims of all of those teams I mentioned. That's 9 teams I just mentioned out of a group of 12 who could take that entire bracket. That's 9 teams, ladies and gentlemen. I know I just did 2 because numbers are hard. 9 teams that, in my opinion, any one of those.
It's good that no one
can
see
bracket.
you on camera. That's really.
Fair enough. I mean, I'm naked, so they're missing out, but I'll put my clothes back on just in case. Globochem are the big bad in that, like the established team, but I wouldn't say they are the big bad in the way I think we're going to see Vortex in Group 3 or Royal Strive in Group 1 or Rect in Group 2. I really feel like in Group 4, it is anyone's to play for, and there are 9 teams on that who could take it.
Yeah, I think Group 4 is, in my opinion, the shootout group and the group that I am most interested in watching from a spectator perspective, because there is a myriad of different matches there that are just on paper so close. Like, there's some strong teams there, there's up and coming teams there, there's established teams there. Like, it's going to be a slugfest, and whoever comes out of that group alive is going to very much deserve their ticket to Miami. Like, that is not going to be an easy group, because you're right. Like, maybe you don't have, the big names or the big bad kind of teams in there, right? Because there probably was some clear favorites going into 1, 2, and 3. I know there's some clear favorites going into 4, but the median skill level there, a lot of these teams are very, very close, and a couple of mistakes, a couple of players having an off or a really on day could be such a difference maker here. So I'm just really excited for Sunday just to check this out and kind of be a fly on the wall and watch this all go down.
Tune in for Group 3 because it's going to be amazing, but definitely tune in for Group 4 because it is going to be I honestly think it's going to be the one where we go to see the most maps going to round 3, where we get sooner players. Tune in. Do not miss Group 4 because that is going to be that's where we're going to see the last team making it to Miami, and it's going to be the last casted event, really, a proper one before the Miami Major. So do tune in for both, but definitely tune into Group 4. Absolutely. So, having said that,
it's a Bobo.
Bobo VR. Go Bobo.
Go Bobo. What were the other ones over the weekend? The floor is
lava. Welcome to Miami, or as Radar understood it, we're going to Miami. I really enjoyed that one. There was one more that I can't remember. There's one more.
The first one.
VR esports go hard.
Oh boy! All right,
that was good. You did it at the same time. It confused me. I was like, why can't I hear myself?
We're the same person, just one with more hair and more mustache. I
What
guess.
channel are we on right now?
One. We're on one trip. We're on channel 1. Tell the AI we're on channel 1.
Did anybody enter the giveaway? Because
Lots of people did. There's at least 10 people.
No.
I'm not
There's
seeing any of that.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's 9 people.
Can we get them to do again? Everyone, what was it? Zuck.
It was exclamation mark Zuck stash.
Hold on. It's not even in there.
Wait.
I don't stop. Wait, no. There's what is?
What do you mean?
hold
Type
on.
exclamation mark
Point.
giveaway.
Radar
But the code is not in
Is-
the giveaway thingy. Hold
exclamation
on.
mark.
Let me type it
bad
in real
AI
quick.
to win. Stand a
Zuck
chance.
stash.
Exclamation mark.
Now do it. Go.
Right. Exclamation mark. Zuck stash. How do you spell that?
ZUCCSTACHE.
Zuck stashy. If you want a chance to win this, Bobo. I mean, you won't win this one because this is mine, and also this is a Mark II. The Mark I arguably is better for more active movements with the head. I think it just holds. This is more comfortable, but it moves around a little bit more, whereas the Mark I kind of grips your head a bit more. So just because it's a Mark I, don't think you don't want it. You want a Mark I because it's
They're
also
they're
freaking
very
awesome.
different, right? And I think I'm gonna have to get the other one just to see, because the Mark II is comfy for sure, but
Wait,
I'm a
we
very
got
active person.
one person entering. Does that mean they win by default?
They win by default. What are we
You
gonna
can-
say? Give them 5 minutes.
can
We
game,
have 5 minutes
You
of
can
content.
look good while doing it, right?
This is
I
5
look
minutes of
futuristic,
content
right?
right
As
here.
hell right now.
No, we'll just watch Radar with the
Oh, I
headset
got one
on
too,
for
hold
5
on.
minutes. We'll get yours on. I'll just. I don't know what I'll do.
I can't see anything. Where's my mic? Hold on. There's my mic. Okay. Whoa, that's awesome. It's like it's not even there. It's like
Feels like
the
I'm wearing
quest
nothing at all.
barely
Nothing
there.
at all.
I'm glad that you
All
guys
right.
got the look. You can even do this, which is really super helpful for like when you're doing like development and stuff
Mm.
like that. You just flip it up.
And a little Titan thing here, Titan on your Titan on the back
And
of
the
your head.
battery pack. Wait, I don't have the battery pack on mine. Do you have the battery
Oh, the
pack?
battery
on yours?
pack clips in.
We've
It's
got
magnetic.
3 entries now. 3 entries.
Wait, hold on. I have a sponsor ad for this. Look, I got
All
this.
right.
I prepared.
Where's my battery pack?
Over there, down there in the corner. Bobo VR, the most comfortable VR accessories.
All
It
right.
does look pretty legit. Not gonna lie.
And then we just throw the quest across the room and hope it makes it to the bed.
Awesome.
Fair. Fair.
All right. Well, let's call the winner.
Oh, wait. I don't have an ad. I lied. I don't have an ad. There's only 3 people in here. Only 3.
Well, yeah, because we asked them to do it before, and 9 people entered, and then you
Well,
asked
hold
them to
on.
do it again, and
Hold
only
on.
3 people
Can
entered.
Can I add them? Can I put people in here?
I can tell you the names of people who entered it.
I don't know if I can do this.
I'm trying to enter it now.
Give me the names. Let's do
Okay.
that. We'll do
So
a random draw.
Heritage, Lynx, and Clumsy Moose all did it the second time. So then it's Orzo.
Hold on.
Okay.
I gotta
Where
find
do you?
a random name picker thingy.
Okay, let me type
Here
out a
we go.
list here.
we
Give
go.
me,
Yeah,
give me
yeah,
a sec.
Give me a list. Give me a list.
sec. I'll do it. So it's Orzo, Elders. I don't know why we just didn't do this the first time. Clint OZ03, Weezerx or something like that. Clumsy Moose, Heritage, SV. Then Links.
What were the codes from the last one? What do we have before? Was it Shine the Dome and
Radar for president.
That's so toxic.
So
So Heritage, Orzo, Links.
Radar for president. Shine the dome.
Radar for President. That was a good one. That was a
Okay.
good one.
There you go. Here's all the people in
Got
in
it.
HQ.
Got it. All right. Stick those guys in here. Draw one winner.
Drum roll, please.
Did you put the people that just put it in there? Okay, so I'm gonna take.
That's
them out.
everybody. That's
Okay.
everybody that put it in the duration of the stream.
That's it.
Yes.
All right, one
Yes.
winner. Here we go. Where's the draw button? There it is. Boop.
The
Links!
suspense is killing me.
It's
It's Links.
the links. Congratulations, you won a Bobo VR M1
GTV,
headset.
I hope you have a Quest, because
Otherwise, it's very rude.
If you have,
no, I'm
if
kidding.
you don't,
I hope
if you have a friend that has a
headset.
Quest, you can ship it to
I know
them.
he's on VAIL meme team. He definitely has a VR headset.
All right, well, thanks for watching.
Definitely
and,
has a VR headset.
and there you go. There's your reward for watching and also taking part this weekend. I know VAIL meme team might not have made it through, but you have a Bobo VR headset coming to you. Well, head strap coming to you. So that's some consolation, right?
Shoot me a DM, and we'll get you squared away.
All right.
Okay. In that case, Zook, thanks for being here. Trip, smack that AI for me, please. Right across the head.
I went through 3 tablets tonight and a phone.
Maybe
Just-
it's time for a dedicated stick to deal with the AI.
I know,
think.
man. Jeez.
Dedicated switch, I think they're called, aren't they?
Yeah.
Just
Right.
whack it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right,
hit me up on
and,
Discord.
Trip.
You got it.
As always,
All
man,
right.
thanks for putting this all together.
Yeah, we'll be back next week, and definitely tune in Saturday and Sunday for the awesome action that is playoffs 3 and 4. And then
12.
have we talked about what
noon?
happens after the playoffs? Have we talked about
I
that
don't-
at all? There's the online thingy. Yeah.
We
Who
can
knows-
save that for next
who
week
knows how that happens?
prior to. Yeah, 12 noon Eastern, Saturday, Sunday, IVRL League 1, IVRL League 2. Many
Ooh.
playoff matches, many games, much hype.
Let's see if
Very
this is a
Vail.
command. Hold on. Is this a command? Nope, that's not a command. Buy tickets to Miami. They are
Yeah, true.
available and free. Not tickets to Miami, but tickets to the event in Miami are free. You gotta get your own ticket to Miami.
Yeah, if you're sneaky and know where to look, the main Vail Discord. You can get a ticket for free. You just got to get there and come and join us all. It's going to be an awesome
The
event.
venue, I keep checking out the venue. The venue looks sick. I'm psyched to go and see the venue itself, just outside of Vail. I mean, just Vail's going to be amazing there as well, but the actual venue is a perfect fit for it.
Speaking of venues,
Yeah.
there's some awesome new stuff in this weekend's deck that you want to tune in for because there's even more information that has been released.
All right. Okay, without further ado, that's unaVAILable. Peace out.
And now we're unavailable.
Have a good night.
Peace.
Thanks for joining us, everyone.
Nope, I can't hang it up. The AI will not let me. There we go.
Welcome to the IVRL VAIL launch season with a prize pool of $35,000 and a LAN finals in Miami. The launch season will be split into 3 sections: qualifiers, playoffs, and finals. The season starts on August 6th with the first of 8 qualifiers. The qualifiers are single-day Super Swiss brackets with a predetermined number of rounds where you fight to stay alive and only 6 teams progress. All teams start with 0 wins, 0 losses, and random seeding. Teams will face off against other teams with an equal win count. After the first round, all the winning teams will play each other and the losing teams will do the same. Each match consists of a single map, first to 11 points. Once a team accrues 2 match losses, they are eliminated. After the final round, the top 6 teams will be qualified and secure a spot in the playoffs. These 48 qualified teams will split into 4 groups, playing on the first 2 weekends of September. Each group will play its own single elimination bracket in a best-of-3 format. 1 finalist will emerge from each group, and at the end of the playoffs, 4 teams will have secured those spots to play on a stage in the Miami VAIL Major. Finals start with an online single-map round-robin bracket to determine seeding. Then, the 4 teams are flown to the Miami VAIL Major. A single elimination 3-map bracket with 3rd place matches will decide the final winners. Teams will compete for $35,000 in cash prizes and the glory in being crowned the champion of the IVRL VAIL launch season.